Woo! Please listen to me. Please make sure that you are not eating when you're watching this Netflix series, or at least the first episode. Please make sure your food is fully digested, because if it's not, I am confident that it will come up and it will not be a good thing. Man, golly, this was scary, man. This was crazy, but we got to talk about it. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Just My Opinion for my Dahmer monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story Netflix series reaction for episode 1. And if this is your first time finding me and you happen to like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. All right, guys, so now we have Dahmer Monster, this Netflix series right here, and everyone is talking about it. I know that I am late to the party, but it is better to be late than never show up at all. And I wanted to talk about this because everybody was just telling me that it's so good, and Evan Peters knocked this out the park, and it's just crazy, it's disturbing. B, you got to see it, you got to talk about it, and that's what's bringing me here to you today. Now, I only will be talking about episode 1, and this will contain spoilers. I'm going to spoil it up, down, left, right, in, and out as if you've already seen it. So that is your warning. And guys, I've never done a reaction review recap like this before, to where it is a whole series, but I only focused on one episode at a time. And I just want to try that out and see how things play out, see if I like it, see how you like it. So let me know in the comment section if you do like this format, and if you want me to continue talking about each episode in the series to a total of 10 full episodes. But yeah, guys, this was amazing. And if you did not know, of course, this is the story of Jeffrey Dahmer, told from the perspective of the victims and the surrounding news reports. And from what I've seen out of this first episode, it is quite graphic and does not hold back. So if you're a bit squirmish, if your tummy will flip upside down, this may not be for you. Now, of course, this is based on a true story, and I remember hearing about Jeffrey Dahmer either when I was in the 8th or 9th grade. I want to lean on the 9th grade. It was a psychology class. It was my first black male teacher that I ever had in my entire life. His name was Mr. Batiste. I will remember it like it was yesterday. And he did show us some type of documentary type movie about Jeffrey Dahmer. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. Like I said, it was quite disturbing. And that went into his childhood and things that he started thinking about as a little boy that was a bit unorthodox. And I don't know if this series on Netflix will tie into that, because I've only seen episode 1. So if you've seen the whole thing, you know, please don't spoil it in the comments for me. But yeah, I mean, this does not pick up there. It picks up kind of at the end of his run, and you know, that's kind of interesting, and I'll talk about that in a second. But I was already a bit familiar with Jeffrey Dahmer and knew the man was quite disturbed. But yeah, this first episode was amazing. I mean, this was very well put together. And before we get into all the details, I just have to give credit to Mr. Evan Peters, this gentleman right here. He is playing the titular role of Jeffrey Dahmer, and I will say Evan Peters knocked this out the park, sir. And so I just have to give you a round of applause right there. And I do respect this man much more as an actor. And in 2021, Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Limited or Anthology Series or Movie for Mayor of Easttown. I did not see that, but apparently he is very talented. And he popped up on the scene for me, not just with X-Men of him playing Quicksilver, but going all the way down to 2008 with Never Back Down as Max Cooperman. And so this man has come a long way, and he does deserve all the credit that he is about to get. Also want to shout out Miss Niecy Nash. She is prominent in this first episode as well, and she did a great job too. I think it was Reno 911. Yeah, that's when she popped up on the scene for me. She's been doing that for quite some time and has had other supporting roles, you know, throughout the years, throughout her career, dipping in here and there. And I liked her as well, but she showed her acting chops in this, and those are two of the standouts in this first episode. And you know, I always try to give credit to directors, and we have a number of them right here. I don't know exactly who directed the first episode, but Jennifer Lynch, Paris, Clement, Greg, Carl, I'm pretty sure you all did a great job job. So thank you for that as well. And pretty much the whole cast in this whole series did a great job. I mean, if I just scroll over, everybody did a great job. Even my boy Tracy at the end, played by Sean J. Brown. I thought he was a goner, but he got out of there. He got out of there. He got out of there. And the first thing that just really stood out to me in this first episode right here, and it's just titled Episode 1. There's nothing special about that title. After throwing his neighbor off the stench coming from his apartment, Jeff heads to a local bar where a stranger takes him up on a tempting offer, talking about, hey, let's take some pictures for $50. It's not going to be anything weird, but this man is the textbook definition of weird. But before we even get to Jeffrey Dahmer, just the way that this episode started off, just showing Niecy Nash, her character, I forgot her name. Her character's name is Glenda Cleveland. It just seems like she can't escape. I mean, she's just watching the news, watching TV, and they're giving you a report of 5 police officers that beat up another black police officer that was undercover. And it's just like, I mean, damn. And she has to deal with that when she goes outside of her apartment, but she has this racist white supremacist psycho killer next door that is eating people, black people at that. And that's just crazy. But I love the direction of this. I love the way it started off, because the first time we see Jeffrey Dahmer in episode 1, we do not see his face. We just see his torso. We hear noise coming from the air vent of the murders he's committing right here, with some type of saw with blood all over it. And what just stood out to me, you instantly already, of course, know that this man is crazy as hell because he's chopping bodies in half with the saw. But he's on next level crazy because he just doesn't care. He has no remorse. I mean, this does not seem like a struggle to him. This just seems like a regular thing he does, like he's going to go get gas or take out the trash, because I noticed that he has his watch on. He still has his regular clothes on with his jeans and his shirt tucked in with his belt tied up and all that. And he's just casually washing his hands like nothing. I mean, he has clearly been doing this for a long, long time. And I did not know what to think, because there's just so much to this story, and there's just so much to unpack from past documentaries as well, and just other things that I've come across in the years. And I didn't know exactly where this took place in his reign of evil supremacy throughout this Milwaukee neighborhood. But that's just another reason why I like the show, is because it was slightly unconventional. Usually they would start with this character at the very beginning, like, okay, hey, once he was a little boy and he didn't have any friends and he grew up and, you know, these were his parents, etc. No, we see the very end of his reign. And I think that was a very great approach, just to get you on board with this series, locked in, glues tied to the television all the way through the series to episode 10. But he is convincing to these incompetent police, if you know the story. And there is a documentary coming out later on about the whole Jeffrey Dahmer story, but we're going to be hearing the not ever heard before tapes and the interrogation and the investigation to see exactly what was going on in his brain. But just the way Evan Peters was talking to Glenda when he was leaving his apartment, trying to go to the bar to pick up victims, talking about meat. And she called him out like, wait a minute now, I saw you take out some bad meat, and that stench should still not be there. You know, what's going on? I wonder if, and I'm possibly going to learn this as I'm doing my more research and watching more of the series. But I do want to know that, because I know that there are conversations with her trying to talk to the police like, hey, what's going on? Y'all need to go check this man out over here. There's some weird stuff going on. I remember back when I was a freshman year in high school that there was one victim that escaped, and then the police actually escorted him back to Jeffrey Dahmer's place because he was just so out of there. And Jeffrey Dahmer was like, hey, you know, me and this boy right here, we're like a lover. And somebody was like, no, this dude is bleeding, he needs some help. And the cops were just crazy. And so that may pop up later in the series. I'm just kind of going off right now off the dome of my head. But that was scary right there, just in the very beginning. Just seeing Jeffrey Dahmer, Evan Peters talk to Niecy Nash, Glenda like that in the hallway. Just his mannerisms, how dry and monotone he was. I mean, he is truly a monster. They picked the perfect title for this series to put monster in the title. And she was scared, and I would have been scared as well. I would have been like, okay, I'm gonna just leave this dude alone. You know, keep calling the cops if I got to do that. But yeah, that was very, very disturbing early on in this series. And then he goes to the bar and he picks them up, and I mean, come on, man. I mean, I guess that's the last thing that you would think, that you're going to be chopped up in somebody's apartment. But at the same time, you know, Tracy, hey, my brother, I'm glad you got out of there, but we got to use better judgment. And I'm not trying to judge anybody, and rest in peace to all the victims. But it's just watching it, when Tracy got back to the apartment, I mean, his head was on a swivel. Like, okay, something just does not seem right. And I was going to say to myself, okay, wait a minute now. What is the timeline here? Now, did he get rid of the smell? But no, Tracy smelled it as soon as he got in there. And when he locked that door, I was like, God, dog. I mean, I hope that this man can make it out of here. I know that this was not his first victim, because we already saw the blood before, and we knew what was going on. I mean, he had the vat in the back. This dude's apartment is dirty as hell. He has blood on his mattress. The fact that you would invite somebody back to your crib like this and not care to clean up at all, that just shows that you just on a whole different level of crazy that most people have never encountered before in their entire life. And another great thing is just the set that they built to show all of this. That apartment was creepy, nasty, dirty, dingy, just as hell. And they did a great job of just showing the dirt on the wall and the different shadows and just all the grime and the grit. I mean, like, it was gross, and it fit within everything, and just kind of showed you who Jeffrey Dahmer really was and the lifestyle that he had, which was detestable to say the least. But man, I was nervous when he tried to leave, and he was like, no, don't leave. I want to show you something. I'm hot, man. It's stinking here. I'm trying to get out. You know, well, I said I would open up the air conditioner, and he wouldn't let him leave, man. I was so scared, and I did not want to see. I didn't know what they was going to show. I didn't know what I was going to see. I didn't know what they was going to reveal. I knew Dahmer killed people. Do I want to see it? Do I want that to be off screen? I mean, I was terrified watching this downstairs in my living room. And then when he put the handcuffs on and he was just so chill, like, what? I'm just doing it for the pictures. I mean, this dude is a nut job, man. And Evan Peters brought all of this to life. I mean, I'm just blown away with how great he did in this performance right here. And just pulls out the machete. Damn. I mean, I felt so sorry. I was about to cry. I was like, I do not want to see this. If they're going to show him stabbing him to death or chopping off his head or limbs or something like that. And Glenda heard it next door, Niecy Nash, you know, like she heard the thumping and the thudding and all of that. And then when they go to the bedroom and trying to watch the movie, this dude talking about he watches The Exorcist 3 every day. And his favorite part is when a head explodes. I mean, wow. I want to hear your heartbeat. Let me put my ear to your chest. I want to hear your heart. Why? Because I'm going to eat it? Oh my God. And then he's like having to lay down with blood on them. I mean, damn, this is a freaking nightmare. But he got out of there, man. He got it out of there. He fought. He saw the vat over there. What is this? We knew what that was. He pulled his hair. I mean, I'm up here screaming at the TV. Get out of there, Tracy. Get out of there. Get him. Stomp his head. I'm just saying, y'all, we got to practice. We have in this situation. And it was smart. He pulled his hair. Probably should. I think he broke his glasses on accident, but he pulled his hair. Ladies and gentlemen, when you in this situation, when you just knock them on the ground, don't just run out of there. Continue to monkey stomp your heel of your foot until their head, until their face. Just stomp, stomp the hell out of them. Just don't stop until they can't move no more. And then do it 5 more times just to make sure. But I'm glad that Tracy got out of there, man. I'm glad. I knew he was dead. I knew he was a gunner, but I was like, oh my God. I was at the edge of my seat, y'all. And he's running down the street. Oh, help me, please. Somebody help me. And I'm like, oh, come on. Are the cops going to shoot him? Are the cops going to shoot him? And I knew there was some dumbass cops in the real life story of this, but they did handle things accordingly. Just a little bit, you know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of protocol, but I was really surprised when he looked at the photos. And Jeffrey Dahmer, I mean, he was a smart man. I mean, I'm not going to say, no, he was not just some mastermind. There was a lot of racism that had to deal with this case and why he was not convicted and arrested earlier. And I'm pretty sure they're going to get into that later on in this series and in the documentary that they're going to come out with. But I was really surprised when the cops looked at the photos and saw that, okay, these are real dead bodies and victims, and they got him out of there. I'm thinking, I'm like, okay, I know that he's just not going to overpower all the cops and kill everybody and pull Tracy back in there. That would just be horrible. I don't even know if I could come back like, no, I'm going to stay down here at the car on the curb, you know, but what do y'all think about that right there? Just the way that the cops dealt with him initially. They was giving him, I don't want to say they was giving him a lot of leeway because they was like, hey, can I come in? I mean, they didn't just take his word for it just right there in this first episode. And hey, let me go get it out the drawer. It's like, no, I'll go get it. You know, they want to make sure he don't go get a gun or anything like that. But I was so happy when they arrested him and Tracy was able to talk shit like, yeah, mother effer, you gonna die and I hope they get your ass and all of that. And hearing Glenda, hearing Niecy Nash, like, I told y'all. And nobody wanted to listen to her. And I know that's because not only was she black, she was a black woman. Unfortunately, racism, white supremacy still exists. It always is, unfortunately. And there's always going to be some implicit bias. You know, like, okay, you're a black person tattling on a white person. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they look like me. That's just the way it is. I mean, if you disagree, that's fine. But that's just the way I feel. But my goodness gracious, and it was all over the news. And then we also have Richard Jenkins that came through as his dad. And you have to imagine how difficult that was to hear that. He thought that somebody tried to murder his son. And the way and shout out to Michael Beach. I like Michael Beach as well, one of the detectives. It was like, the first thing they said is, this is going to be hard. But we found a human head in the fridge. We found 2 hearts in a freezer bag in the freezer. Another bag had pairs of genitalia. There were skulls and bones and all of that throughout the apartment. Acid. He tried to eat people. Oh man, that's crazy. That's crazy. Y'all, this first episode was amazing. I was blown away. I cannot wait to watch more and give you guys my reaction. I want to do this with each episode. If you guys are into that, we can do it. Let me know in the comment section below. But subscribe to do all that. But guys, thank you again for tuning in. And before you go, don't forget that my name is Brandon Keith Avery. And that's just my opinion. Peace.